What do you think, Jeff?
I think that if you've got one wage, one plan, one benefit that is the same across the country, you're going to have either you're going to pick the region that a person requires the most money, which means everyone else will be getting more than they need to buy the same bundle of goods.
It doesn't quite work that way, Jeff. It doesn't quite work that way. You get 2/3 of your salary up to $39,000 across the country. The inequality is how many hours do you have to work before you're eligible for the program, and how many weeks do you have to wait before the program kicks in for you? Those are the two things that are unequal. Everybody gets the same amount of money out of the program. The question is, how long do you have to work to be eligible, and how long do you have to wait to get access to it? Those are the inequalities.
Thanks for the call, Jeff. We'll go now to Fort McMurray. Daryl is on the phone. Hi, Daryl.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, there's a few things I just wanted to say. One thing is I do agree with the fact of some uniformity between, all the through UI. What I think that needs to be changed directly is the fact of how you can get it. Up here in Fort McMurray, there is many people that come to Fort McMurray, which is great, to be able to fulfill jobs that are needed, positions that are needed. Mm-hmm. However, all they're interested in is how many hours that they get so they can move back to where they live. And we've had to move either in Alberta or to Alberta to live, to raise a family, to be able to support what's going on locally, in the community and so forth. And a lot of people are more interested in is just so I can get my hours so I can go back home to be on UI.
And that's a cultural problem. There's a political problem there as well between, is this an entitlement or does it kill incentive? And that's a different kind of a conversation, a very valid one. But if you're unemployed, do you get rights and do you have benefits? And I think it's the issue.
Okay, Jeff, thank you for making that. Sorry, that's Daryl. Thank you for making that point. We'll go now to...
But it's a good point.
It is a good point. Let's go to Tony, who's on the line now in Calgary. Hi, Tony.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks. What are your thoughts?
Jeff there was off track. Minimum wage is a provincial jurisdiction, not a federal jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. And EI is a federal jurisdiction. And if you're equally playing into it, everybody should have the same rights, same hours, same everything. And that I agree 100%. And if Mr. Harper wants to go on an election on that, let him go, because he called a useless election and spent over $300 million about a year ago, not even a year ago. That was absolutely ludicrous. And this EI right now, Canadians, they could go to and get new trades and new this. But what are you going to do in 2 years? How are they going to pay the mortgage? How are they going to pay the rent? How are they going to pay other things and the food? These programs are great on the long term. But on the short term, people need money right away. And they don't need it in 3 months and 5 months and 6 months or in 2 years. They need it now. They're unemployed. They have to pay rent. They have to pay mortgage. They have to pay their bills. They have to pay everything. So, I think this is a super, super thing that the Liberals are promoting, and I hope that the rest of the party will support it. And if Mr. Harper wants to go on the election, by all means, I will be voting Liberal.
Thank you very much for the call, Tony.
Thank you.
Let's go now to Pat, who's on the line in Calgary. Hi, Pat.
Hello, thanks for taking my call. My beef about EI is how to impact students at college and university, because when they work, and they all have to work at some point during their student career because they have to pay their bills. And so they have to pay EI, but they can never claim it because they are back at school by the time they're eligible to claim it, so they're not available for work. And this particularly hits students who are in co-op programs.
What do you think of that, Ken?
Well, I think there's an issue of fairness and equity there. There's a lot of self-employed people, too, that have to pay into it, or small business owners that have to pay into it and aren't eligible to collect it either. So for some people, it's a tax. So should we be putting a tax on students like that? Of course not. But that's a matter that's easily solved, but it shows how we haven't really taken a serious look at this program. We've developed it over time. It's kind of been like Topsy. It's just growed, and we have to really think it through again. And this is a wonderful opportunity to do it. Whether it's worth calling an election over, I think that will focus the attention of politicians to say, we better look at this seriously in case we make a mistake and do call an election inadvertently over it. But I think it's time for some open flexibility and to revisit a bunch of these old principles that no longer apply. And I think Pat brings up a good one.
Ken, it is always wonderful to have you with us to share your insights. Thank you for joining us.
It's been fun.
That is Ken Chapman. He's a lawyer and policy analyst with Cambridge Strategies in Edmonton. And I thank all the people who called in and all of you for listening. And if you have anything you'd like to contribute to this discussion, we would love to hear your thoughts and we'll play them on the show. Give us a call at 1-800-461-9219. That's 1-800-461-9219.